The Disney Sega Virgin Games deal is just one of the many exciting advances in the entertainment industry's interactive future that are taking shape this week at the Consumer Electronics Show. CNN's Dennis Michael has that story from Chicago.
It's real. 6 months ago we had the promise, and now we have the reality.
The circuit board is the heart of a 3DO interactive compact disc media player. Panasonic will release the first 3DO player in October under the name Real. Wall Street thinks 3DO is real as well. The company's initial stock offering last month made headlines and raised nearly $50 million.
The positive response to 3DO indicates that there's a lot of confidence that investors in Wall Street have about multimedia generally and about 3DO specifically.
To get specific about 3DO, the device uses the huge data storage capacity of the compact disc for video games, educational programming, and within a few years, full-length movies. The unit is also designed to serve as the control center for video on demand and other information superhighway functions. It'll arrive in electronic stores in October, carrying a list price of about $700. But although the question of which interactive format will catch on is still open, 3DO chief Trip Hawkins has little doubt that interactivity is the future mainstream of the consumer electronics business.
We like to interact. That's part of our nature as mammals, is to play and to interact, and it's one of the ways that we are creative. And you can't get that just from pushing buttons on your remote control for your TV. There's got to be something more.
And the industry hopes much more. Dennis Michael, CNN Entertainment News, Chicago.
For home video buffs, there's 3DO. This $700 system lets you add special effects and professional editing techniques to your own videos. What can you do with that picture?
Okay, we can take this picture right now, okay, and we can...
Oh my God.
Yeah, we can quadruple it. We can twist it around.
3DO President Trip Hawkins says all this new technology is aimed at one thing, getting the viewer involved.
You can actually feel like you're inside the TV, part of the experience. If it's a sport, you can be on the field. If it's a movie, you can be a character in the movie.
Back at the Consumer Electronics Show in Chicago at McCormick Place, the big buzzwords here this year are interactive and multimedia. To help us sort that out and show us some of what's new, we have Michael Rogers, who's technology editor for Newsweek magazine. Good to have you with us this morning.
Good to be here. This is the 3DO machine. This will be available around Christmas time.
Right.
Very sophisticated new video game machine that will also play these compact discs.
Okay.
Extremely good graphics, and this is the one the industry is very excited about, but not available yet.
Okay. And when it becomes available, what will the cost?
It'll be around $700 for the box.
Hello, I'm Richard Hart. Welcome once again to the next step in technology.
Now, you could get millions of colors at the same time if you went to the next step, 32 bits. There is a company that's exploring that realm and beyond. It's called 3DO.
This is actually representing about a 50 times jump in the quality and the performance for the graphics and the animation. And that is a bigger leap in one generation than ever before in the history of consumer electronics.
3DO uses compact discs instead of videotape, and it may well become the standard for the next generation of multimedia equipment. The first home units will sell for around $750.
You see, in the past, the systems, both computers and game systems, have been very limited in realism, and so that's why it's been something mainly for kids and hobbyists. But now you've got enough realism in the picture quality and the sound that it's really more like interactive television. You know, we want people to ask, is it TV or is it 3DO?
Well, a California high-tech company has gone public and is being met with an enthusiastic reception on Wall Street. Steve Young reports investors are pinning high hopes on the company's new video game machine.
The 3DO name sounds like something out of Star Trek, and the new stock soared like something out of biotech. The compact disc game machine's graphics was just part of the razzle-dazzle. Hardware partners like Matsushita working on the production machine and AT&T working on the chips also helped. The initial public offering also looked good to investors because Time Warner and Electronic Arts are working on 3DO software. And 3DO's charismatic CEO, Trip Hawkins, is one of the Pied Pipers of Silicon Valley. Those who invested in Electronic Arts, which he founded, earned 7 times their money in 4 years. Expecting feverish demand, investment bankers first said 3DO would go public at $10 to $12 a share, then priced it at $15. The stock opened at $18.50, and by the end of day one, 3DO closed at $20.25, though it has no earnings and no product. All this on just the promise of the best game machine ever by Christmas.
If all you had were horse and buggies, and all of a sudden someone tells you by Christmas he'll have the first automobile, would you be willing to make a bet on it? It's got a chance.
3DO is supposed to bridge the gap between game machines and PCs.
This is a concept sale. It hasn't happened yet. It looks like it's coming together. It might fail. They can be perfectly honest and open about it and say, might not work, guys. And people are still just writing checks like that.
It's the latest public offering to take Wall Street by storm. A look inside the dynamics of 3DO, a Bay Area multimedia giant. 3DO, a San Mateo-based interactive multimedia group, is literally banking on the future. This week's Company Close-Up, KGO Radio's Lynn Jimenez reports on this cutting-edge business that's putting all its faith into one product and one creative CEO.
Trip Hawkins is definitely a man with a vision. Not only did he take his Electronic Arts company to great success as a top producer of electronic games, now he's tapping into the $17 billion interactive multimedia market with a smart little company called 3DO, and he's doing surprisingly well.
Interactive is the future, and we think 3DO is going to set the standard. Multimedia is the first consumer electronic medium where you actually do something, you're involved, you're creating your own experience.
What's got Wall Street so excited about this little startup company is that 3DO has developed the technology for an interactive multiplayer, which bridges the gap between home computers and children's video games.
A lot of people think entertainment just means video games, but for a system like 3DO, it also means simulation, things like flight simulators, which is a big adult activity, and also interactive sports. A lot of adults that are interested in sports products.
We showed this to the Grateful Dead, and they loved it. In fact, we're working on incorporating it into the live stage show.
You can put video clips on the same disc. You can put CD quality sound and music on the same disc. And it can all be at your fingertips.
And the future of 3DO does lie at consumers' fingertips. You know, the company went public back in May. And even though that raised $48.5 million, 3DO lost $15 million this year alone. And it's been losing money since it started out in 1991.
When we started to talk to the Wall Street people, we realized that because of the history that they've had with biotech companies, they had developed a method for putting a value on these companies even when they didn't have any revenues.
Hawkins says he realized his firm had a lot more concrete technology than most biotech companies do, so he'd definitely be able to raise the money.
I think a lot of people believe now that the fastest growth technology market in the next decade is going to be multimedia.
And the home entertainment industry may never be the same again. For Marketplace, I'm Lynn Jimenez.
The 3DO multiplayer will be on store shelves by Christmas. It'll cost around $700. Also, one final note, Ernst & Young recently awarded Trip Hawkins with the CEO of the Year award in the Bay Area software category. Our congratulations go out to 3DO.